Now, we all have days where we wake up where we're not feeling awesome, or days where we feel that the events in our life are just getting on top of us. So here are 5 techniques that you and your kids can use just to get those stress levels under control. The first technique is breathing. It's really, really simple and something even very little children can be taught to do. We're all breathing anyway, and as long as you can breathe and as long as you can count, you can do this exercise. So what we do is we're going to breathe in for 3 counts. So in, 2, 3. Then we're going to pause on the count of 4. And then we're going to breathe out 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's in, 2, 3, pause, out 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what we're actually doing here is extending that out breath. So the out breath is twice as long as the in breath. And what that does is to activate that parasympathetic nervous system and calm the system down, take us into that lovely rest and digest state. So again, do it with me this time. Breathing in, 2, 3, pause on 4, out 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you'll realize that to get that long out breath, you actually need to take a really deep in breath. And it's that deep in breath that actually pushes down the diaphragm and activates the vagus nerve, which is going to send messages up to our brain to tell us that we're now calm and relaxed. It's the same thing you're doing at the end of a day where you've had a really tough day and you've got to the end of the day and you go, ah. That long sigh, it's what we naturally do when everything's okay and we're ready to relax. So we're telling our brains that that's what's happening. So the second technique, also tricking the brain, is something that we call the victory position. Now, the victory position is what people do when they come to the end of a race and they've just won a race and they put their arms up into the victory position and head up and eyes up and like, yes, I've won. And people naturally do this. There was a lady who was studying this and she even looked at blind runners and saw that they were also doing it. So she actually went into a whole study tasting the blood levels of cortisol in people before and after doing this technique. And what she found is that just holding that victory position for around 2 minutes can drop your blood cortisol levels by at least 25%. So that's that stress hormone, and we're just releasing that stress hormone in such a simple way. So people might think you're a bit weird if you suddenly start going into victory position while you're standing in the bank or something, but it's a nice thing that you can use in the privacy of your own home, or if you're feeling stressed, you can just excuse yourself, go to the bathroom, just hold that position. It's also been shown to affect how people see you. So it was done in a series of experiments where people did those kind of power positions before going into job interviews, and other people who kind of closed themselves up sat looking down at their phones, crossed their legs, crossed their arms, and they found that the people who did the victory position were much more likely to get the job. So another thing that you can use next time you're going for an interview. The third trick that we're going to use is simply looking up. Our eyes connect to different areas of our brain. So when we look up, we actually connect with the visual cortex of the brain, whereas when we look down, we're connecting with the emotional centers of the brain. So you'll see that people who are very depressed tend to be hunched over and their eyes are looking down. And if we can get ourselves, our children, to look up when we're very upset, it does help just to pull us out of that emotional state. So a very simple thing, and something that can even be combined with the breathing. Then number 4, we've got what I call the learning state. So what you're going to do here, and do this along with me, you're going to find a spot on the wall above eye level. Okay, so perhaps where the wall meets the ceiling. And you're going to choose that spot and you're going to stare at it. Okay, so keep staring at that one spot. And you're going to find after a bit of time that your eyes become tired. When they do, I want you to open up your peripheral vision, so everything you can see to the left and right while still looking at that spot. Okay, and then you can slowly bring your eyes back down to me, but keeping awareness of the peripheral vision. Now again, we're tricking the brain, because when we're very stressed, we have foveal vision. That's that tunnel vision where we're just focusing on something in front of us. So when that lion is coming for you, you've got to keep your eye on the lion so that it doesn't eat you. But when we're relaxing on the porch of our beach house, we open up our vision and take in the whole scenery. So by doing that, we're telling the brain to relax. Now I call it the learning state because it's a very simple thing that kids can use in class, where they just keep awareness of the periphery while looking at the board or looking at their teacher. And when we're in that relaxed state, remember that the prefrontal cortex is coming back online and the brain is primed for learning. So we can learn a lot more and a lot more quickly if we're in the right state of mind. And then lastly, you can do anything that will trick your mind into believing you're in a better state. So just smiling, and if you can't make yourself smile, you can even just put a pen into your teeth like that and just holding it like that, forcing your face into a smile. Then the brain becomes confused because it thinks, okay, well, we're smiling, which is what we normally do when we're happy, and then your mood can improve. Or jumping up and down. Whoever saw a miserable child jumping on a trampoline? So jumping up and down can take you into a better state. And I'll give you an example of where I used that. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed one day and I went into the kitchen and, cliche of all cliches, I dropped the milk out of the fridge and it was spilling all over the floor, and I was just getting into one of those states where I could lose it. And then I thought, okay, let's break the state. And I started jumping up and down in the kitchen, and my poor children were standing in the doorway looking at me with these very worried faces. And eventually the little one said, "Mom, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm jumping my sillies out." And within seconds, they were both jumping up and down, and we were all laughing and in a good mood. And it just shifted what really could have turned into a very bad day. So if you need something to help you along, you can also watch silly cat videos or pictures of baby animals or anything that's going to shift you out of that state. And sometimes it just takes a small thing just to put you in a better mood, just to shift your attention from what you're stressed about just into the present moment. So give those a try, teach them to your kids, and have some fun.